What's up everyone? So today I'm down at Maserati Lotus Greenville, and behind me I'm taking out one of the oldest cars that I've ever had the chance of getting behind the wheel of. This is a 1965 Alfa Romeo Giulia SS or Sprint Speciale 1600. It is finished off in a really nice blue medio, if that's how you say it. And yeah, this has been fully restored. About 10 years ago is when it went through its restoration process. And this is a six-figure car, so I'm pretty nervous. I moved this from the other side of the lot to here, and I stalled it more than I care to say. It's not that it's hard to do, I just really have to get used to the clutch bite point. But you just push on this button here to open up the aluminum door. Most of this construction is aluminum. It's a very, very lightweight vehicle. I need two hands to shut the door, just so I am extra careful with this car. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop in, take it for a drive, and see what it's like to drive a 1965 Alfa Romeo. All right, so you really got to slam this door good to get it shut. All right, so this is a 4-speed manual. You don't need the clutch to start it up. The key is over to the left side, and it's on. We're good, okay. There's no seat belts. You can see there's not a lot of headroom either. But in neutral now, putting it into first gear. I am generally, e-brake is on. I am nervous about getting this out on the actual roads. I don't know what else to say right now, except making my way out of the parking lot is a challenge in and of itself. It's not that it's just, you know, I mean, it's an old car, but it's not like you just have to get used to it. I don't even know what to say. You just have to get used to it. I need to take my time. I'm not going out on the highway or anything like that. And the brakes are not touchy like a modern day car. So I have to get used to that. I'm keeping the windows down, but I'm sure you guys can hear me. There's only one rear view mirror down on the dash itself, but it's very easy to see all around because it's such a small car. I mean, I can almost touch the back glass. It's right there. It looks like the back windows pop open too, which is pretty cool. There's second gear. This is something else. This is nothing like my R8 or anything like that. I really don't pay attention to cars like this. I can appreciate how they look and the time it took to restore them and things like that. But as far as driving one, I'm very, very nervous right now in driving this. It's for sale on Maserati Lotus's website. I believe it's about 134,000. They made roughly 1,400 of these. So in the 9-year span that they made these, there weren't that many. And so one of the most rarest cars that I've been in for me, as I pass the cop with no seatbelt on, but that's okay because I can't do it. So under the hood, what does this car have? It has a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder twin cam engine paired to the 4-speed manual. This produces 112 horsepower and 83 pound-feet of torque. It only weighs 2,000 pounds. It's rear-wheel drive, and the top speed is 124 miles an hour. I don't know how I would feel going 124 in this, but it's meant to do that, and I'm sure it would handle fantastic. I'm still getting used to how big my shoes are compared to the 3 pedals. So I've got to get used to working that. It's a very, very tight pedal box. It's kind of weird too, the steering wheel in relation to where I'm sitting is closer to the middle of the car than I am. I'm almost angled inwards towards the middle of the car, which is a unique feeling and experience. It's very different to get used to that. So again, this car was made from 1955 to 1965, and they made a couple different versions. There was a coupe like I'm in right now, there was a saloon, a station wagon, and 2 Spider options. 178,000 of those were made. But as far as the 1600 model goes, which I'm in right now, they only made about 1,400 of them, ending production in 1964. So as a 65, this was the last version of the car that was available. The earlier models too were also called the Giulietta. They later shortened it. The later production models were then shortened to Giulia. You really have to put the brake on the floor in order to stop this car. But yeah, you can hear the engine. It's not crazy loud, but other than that, there's really not much else. You have wiper blades. There's a little glove box here. It's not crazy huge, but other than that, I mean, you have back seats too, which is nice. I don't know about fitting 4 people in here. I don't think they're really that functional. It's getting easier the longer I drive it. So the clutch in it doesn't really have to go all the way out. It's about halfway, maybe a little less. And then these shifts are, oh, it is a 5-speed. I don't know why. I knew it was a 5-speed. I don't know why I said 4-speed earlier. It is a 5-speed, and the shifts are surprisingly smooth. You can feel a little like engagement as soon as you get into that gear, which, you know, gives you the satisfaction of knowing you're in that gear, which is nice. This has 44,000 miles on it, which is very, very low for a 60-some-year-old car. Handling is pretty good. I'm not going to be testing out, you know, back mountain roads or anything like that, but trying to rev match here. As far as the gauges go, we have your fuel, looks like oil temperature, your speed is right in the center, and then of course you have your tach on one side and your odometer. And it doesn't drive like a modern day car. I think it's pretty cool because getting to drive cars and see cars like this is just not something that I'm used to, obviously, since we do a lot more reviews of modern day cars on our channel. But to be able to see something like this and just the craftsmanship of a car like this from this era is very cool to see and to be able to check out, because it's just an incredible feeling. Takes turns pretty well. It's so different from anything I've ever driven. There's no navigation screen, and there's no electronic information or anything like that. You just have the 3 dials in front of you, and honestly, that's pretty much it. And there are toggle switches that just go up and down. So I'm sure they're like the head. Oh, that looked like the heating system. I'm sure one of those is the headlights. As far as comfort goes, it's actually been a very smooth ride. It is kind of loud. This is the second vehicle I've ever been in that does this, which is kind of cool. Not really used to that, but let's see how much quieter it gets. And it didn't really get much quieter, but yeah, as far as comfort goes, it's not bad. It's very smooth. It is odd not having a rear view up here, so I need to keep looking 360. I need to make my own 360-degree camera. I mean, it's a great car to cruise around in. I would never take this out on the highway, even though it has a really high top speed for this car from this era. I'm still nervous. I'm still incredibly nervous driving this. But let's pull over now and take a look at everything on the outside that it has to offer. I didn't really do that in depth of a walk around at the dealer. I just wanted to get my bearings on this car. So now we are outside the car. We'll start up front here. It has the traditional Alfa Romeo style grille that you see on all of the Alfas, of course. It's just a little smaller than what you see on like a Giulia or something like that. And of course you have your headlights on both sides. I mean, it has a really, really nice look to it. I like how the indentions of the headlight just kind of work its way into the hood, having one continuous line. You know, the hood line is way over here, so you have really nice lines on both sides there, and of course that stripe coming down the middle of the hood to meet the grille. Just looks really nice. I mean, it has an overall classic design to the side of it. If we step back here a little bit, you can kind of see the proportions of it. Back then, these cars were just simple, I would say, compared to modern day standards, but it's a very, very nice classic car. And then coming back to the taillights here, it just has a nice design that comes to kind of a point where the license plate is, and then we can see right into the back seats. There is some rear storage space, so just by pushing on this, and surprisingly, there's a pretty much full-size spare in here. You have the battery, and that's about it. I believe this is how you fill it up. That's pretty much the general walk around of it. I did forget to show you guys the engine, so I'll go ahead and take a look at that. It does pop up from this side. So with it up, you can see that 1.6 liter 4-cylinder. And then just behind the hood actually is this plexiglass wind deflector. What that is used for, obviously helping wind go up and over the top, but it's mainly there to keep the wiper blades from blowing off. So that's a good design. It is fixed in place, but it doesn't protrude or kind of ruin the look of the front end. It's actually functional, which is nice to see on this car, and that's all factory. So now we'll head inside and take a more detailed look at the interior. Again, you just push on this button, you have a little pocket there for your fingers to be in. You have really nice leather on the inside of the door. This is the release handle. You just pull that straight up, and of course you get out. A little bit of storage space in the lower section and your roll-up windows. And then here's the grab handle to shut the door. But here's the really nice leather interior. The seats are really comfortable, and we'll go ahead and hop in. So it is very tight in here. These seats are manual, adjusting forward and rear, so you just pull on this, and I can go all the way back there so you guys can get a better look. Here is the center gauge setup. This is pretty much it. So again, you have your oil, water, and fuel. There's your revs in the center, and then your speedometer is on the far right. You have the keyhole, e-brake, a couple other temperature and air. I'm not sure what those are unless that's the AC, but you have a start and accelerator here. So if it's a cold start, you have your adjustments to be able to let it idle a little bit higher if you need to. And then here's the glove box. So I mean, it's very, very basic. I'm sure this was very luxurious at the time, but now it's just it's a nice classic, simple interior. And then the backseat room, there's really not much. So, and then you can pop these windows open if you need to do that as well. So that's it. That's pretty much it. Here's the 5-speed, and then that pedal box again. So I'm on the brake right now. Clutch is right there, obviously, and then this is how close the gas pedal is. So I'm pretty much covering both of them right now. With the size of the steering wheel, it's just above my legs, and I'm sure you guys can see that from that angle. It's so weird to not have side mirrors. It's very hard to see. I mean, you can see, you just have to look, of course. Very easy to see around, but it's so different how large this steering wheel is. I'm not used to something like that. Pretty much no car nowadays is this round, so that's pretty different and interesting to use. I mean, it's taking those bumps well. I mean, I didn't rock too much, but the seats are nice and plush. They give you a little bit more cushion. So one thing that I'm gonna do on the way back, just give it a little bit of gas. It's, you know, nothing crazy, but a little more than I have been. Wow. Sounds really good. Wow. I've been babying it most of today's test ride just because I'm not used to it, and I want to give myself, you know, plenty of distance and respect it, but that's crazy. It gets up to speed. I'm gonna have to do that one more time here. Okay, so first gear here. About half throttle. Wow. It's not throw you back in your seat, but it's so different compared to normal day cars, like, you know, getting up to the speed limit, but it sounds good, and it's very, very smooth doing it. This car has been getting a lot of attention. I'm surprised, but obviously it looks like nothing else that I'm around the road with. But a lot of people are looking at it. A lot of people are smiling, seeing it too. We're gonna have to do one more acceleration in this while we have it. For the size of that engine, it sounds so good. All right, well, I think that wraps up today's video, getting to drive a 1965 Alfa Romeo Giulia SS 1600. This is a unique experience. I love testing out a whole bunch of different cars, as you guys have seen. This is the oldest car by far that I've ever driven, and I'm really glad I'm able to see the spectrum of modern day cars compared to a 1965. It's been so much fun to drive in it and see what it was like driving a car that doesn't have all those standard safety features and all the technology and everything that you can do. This car was made for just getting it out and driving it, going for a cruise, and just enjoying being behind the wheel. You didn't have to worry about messing with anything or listening to anything. It's got the 3 pedals, that exhaust sound. This is a true you in the car sports car that you just went out and you had fun with it. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Huge thanks again to Maserati Lotus Greenville for providing this car. I will have a link to their website down in the description below, as this car is for sale on their website. And again, if you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys next video.